You are tuned to the CWA Civil Rights Talk Show, an hour of power. And here's your host, Errol Minor.
Good morning, Houston, Texas. You are tuned into the Communication Workers of America Human Rights Hour Power, a justice-filled hour of talk, solidarity, and worker power. So welcome back to this hour. You are tuned into KYOK 1140 AM and the all-new 106.5 FM. If you cannot stay by the radio, tune in, take us with you at kyokradio.org. It's a new month. April showers bring May flowers, and we can't wait to see those flowers bloom. It's getting warmer, the days are getting longer, and we have more time to get outside and let our voices be heard. That's right, let our voices ring from Vance, Alabama to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Our union brothers and sisters at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette have been outside for 574 days, 18 months striking on the picket lines, and yet while they are out striking, they are still churning out the news with facts for you and me. Let's show our support to them by making sure we subscribe to unionprogress.com. Once you subscribe to this free publication, how about going over and donating to their strike fund at cwa.org/ppg-donate. And I just heard someone shout, when we fight, we win. Our brothers and sisters and siblings at Maximus are still fighting for a fair contract. We ask that you continue to support the workers of Maximus and their families by going over to cwa.org/CCW Solidarity Fund. Guess what? It is Cinco de Mayo. Yes, we're coming up on that. And so Cinco de Mayo is not just a Mexican, or it's not a Mexican Independence Day. It's a popular misconception. Instead, it commemorates a single battle. Cinco de Mayo, or the 5th of May, is a holiday that celebrates the date of the Mexican Army May 5th, 1862 victory over France at the Battle of Puebla during the Franco-Mexican War. The day, which falls on Sunday, May 5th in 2024, is also known as Battle of Puebla Day. While it is a relatively minor holiday in Mexico, in the United States, Cinco de Mayo has evolved into a commemoration of Mexican culture and heritage, particularly in areas with large Mexican American populations. Guess what? This month of May is the Asian American Pacific Islander Month, AAPI. And this morning, I would like to share with you a human rights activist by the name of Kevin Apopo. He has been actively fighting for the rights of others in the AAPI, as well as for climate justice. Kevin Apopo is a prominent figure who is leading the charge in the fight against climate change. He is the leader of the 350 Pacific Movement, which is an environmental justice initiative that is being led by Pacific Islanders from all over the world. Along with other Pacific climate warriors, he is working tirelessly to raise awareness about the urgent need for climate action. The movement's website serves as a central hub where people can sign petitions and participate in global campaigns for climate justice. It is a platform where environmentalists from all walks of life can come together and work towards a common goal of creating sustainable future for all. Apopo is a multi-talented individual who is not only an activist, but also a storyteller and poet. Their voice is a representation of the Black, Indigenous, queer, and trans Samoan community. Apopo's work highlights the intersectionality of climate justice and the impact of climate change on oceanic people. As a member of a community that has been disproportionately affected by climate change, Apopo uses their art to raise awareness about the issue and promote climate justice. They believe in the importance of centering marginalized voices in discussions about climate change and advocating for equitable solutions for all. Through their storytelling and poetry, Apopo inspires others to take action and work toward a sustainable future. Kevin is a dedicated and passionate individual who is committed to making a positive impact in their community. They have a diverse range of interests that encompasses interpersonal connections, community organizing, poetry, and education. Kevin has found and created space for others who are emerging voices for Black, Indigenous, queer, trans, and climate liberation. They believe in the power of storytelling and are a natural student leader at heart. Kevin's stories are designed to interrogate systems of power, challenge the status quo, and uplift voices within their communities. Kevin utilizes their platforms to challenge the status quo and uplift voices in their communities that are particularly influential and impactful through their use of poetry, education, and community organizing. Kevin is committed to making a difference and fighting for climate justice. Through their dialogue and solidarity, they hope to inspire and become an influential voice in the fight for climate justice. Currently, Kevin is a coordinator for the Pacific Islander Student Alliance, which is a student-led organization that aims to promote awareness and appreciation on Pacific Islander culture. They are also a strong advocate for the United Territories of Pacific Islander Alliance, PDX, which is a grassroots organization that fights for the rights of Pacific Islanders living in the United States. Additionally, Kevin is a member of the Pacific Climate Warriors, a global movement of Pacific Islanders taking action against climate change. Kevin, keep up the good work. Up next, Makia Jones brings highlights of May being Mental Health Awareness Month. You are tuned into KYOK 1140 AM, 106.5 FM, Communication Workers of America, Human Rights, Our Power. If you cannot stay by the radio, take us with you on kyokradio.org. This month, the month of May, is recognized as Mental Health Month. It's crucial to take care of ourselves both mentally and physically to maintain a healthy work-life balance. In the next segment, Makia Jones will be discussing the importance of mental health. Good morning, Makia.
Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, KYOK. And yes, I'm so excited to talk about Mental Health Awareness Month, but I'm so glad that you brought up Cinco de Mayo because that is one of my favorite holidays. Now, May is recognized nationally as Mental Health Awareness Month, and it provides an opportunity to raise awareness, combat stigma, and promote mental health resources. Mental Health Awareness Month was established in 1949 to increase awareness of the importance of mental health and wellness in Americans' lives and to celebrate recovery from mental illness. Yes, I said 1949, and it's so crazy to me that we still have that stigma behind it, and a lot of people don't even know that it's Mental Health Awareness Month still to this day. Now, mental health is an essential part of your overall well-being. 1 in 5 American adults experience a mental health condition each year, and everyone faces challenges in life that can impact their mental health. Despite its prevalence, mental health remains shrouded in stigma, preventing many people from seeking help. And early intervention and access to quality care are crucial for managing mental health conditions and improving your overall quality of life. And mental health conditions can affect anyone, regardless of gender, age, race, ethnicity, or income level. Our nation is facing an unprecedented mental health crisis among people of all ages and backgrounds, including young children and older adults. To put this into perspective, if you were standing in a room full of people, at least 1 out of every 5 of those people likely experienced anxiety, depression, or other mental health conditions in the last year. The good news is mental health conditions are treatable. As shown by the many athletes, entertainers, and prominent public figures who have spoken openly about their experiences, people living with mental health and mental illness can and do lead happy and productive lives. This includes serious mental illnesses such as bipolar disorder and major depressive disorder, which can interfere with someone's life and ability to function. Now, similar to medical conditions like diabetes, with early and consistent treatment, people with serious mental health illnesses and mental health issues can manage their conditions, overcome challenges, and enjoy meaningful, productive lives. The more we talk about mental health together, the more normalized these conversations become, the more empowered people will become in seeking the help they need. And fortunately, more people are now talking about and prioritizing their mental health.
Makia, thank you so much for being with us today. Stick and stay and don't you dare go away. You are tuned into KYOK 1140 AM 106.5 FM, Communication Workers of America, CWA Human Rights, Our Power. It's worth noting again that May is recognized as Mental Health Month. Many of us find it challenging to disconnect from our work and concentrate on our personal lives. It's crucial to take care of ourselves, both mentally and physically, to maintain a healthy work-life balance. Millions of Americans experience symptoms of mental health conditions each year, and the number of people seeking care is trending upward. While a mental health diagnosis may impact an individual's daily life, it can also have a ripple effect across families, communities, and even economies. This morning, today on CWA Human Rights, Our Power, we have an expert with us this morning. Cherie May Edwards is here with us this morning from Birmingham, Alabama. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us today. Cherie, can you give us a little information about yourself before we get started and delve right into it?
I'm Cherie Edwards. I am a licensed professional counselor in the state of Alabama. I have been in the field since, oh gosh, it's been about 20 years now that I've been in the field. I am in Birmingham, Alabama, but we also have a location in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Okay, and let me throw this in here. While Cherie provides treatment in many common areas as anxiety and depression, divorce recovery, and grief, she has advanced training and or significant experience in the treatment of bipolar disorder, codependency, and substance abuse. And she is also certified clinician specializing in trauma, PTSD, and minority health issues. So we welcome her to the show. Now, I'm going to get right into it because we have a lot of questions to ask you, because a lot of us as union executives and working in the union, we need some help. And so what I want to ask first is, what is the difference in how mental health affects men and women in the workplace? And is there a higher prevalence in one gender over the other?
Well, statistically speaking, more women report some sort of mental illness versus men. So the percentage for women is about 27%, and the percentage for men is about 20%. But I want to go back to that first word I said in there, report. So the way that we find out that people have mental health illnesses is their report to their doctors or their other providers. So it's not, I don't know that women necessarily have more mental health issues than men, but they report more. Men tend to avoid doctors and not seek treatment. As far as how they present, women tend to internalize their problems of anxiety and depression, which result in, experiencing those feelings of worthlessness, hopelessness, and they tend to internalize. Men tend to externalize, and that looks like substance abuse, antisocial, or destructive behaviors. And so their problems tend to be more visible to others than women. Now, that's not to say a blanket statement of men behave only this way or women behave only that way, but just in general, that tends to be the trend.
Okay. And now, statistically, we know that statistics can increase or decrease. Are the statistics higher for different races and ethnicities?
Okay, so there's not really a whole lot of difference between white people, Black people, Hispanic people, not a whole lot. Mm-hmm. The rate of mental illness in white Americans tends to be about 24%. African Americans about 20%, Hispanic Americans about 18, 19%. So it's very close when you think statistically what people of the different races. Where the disparity comes in is in treatment. So the national average for adults with mental health disorder is 43% seek treatment. So we're just talking about people with reported mental illnesses, about 43% overall. But in the African American community, it's about 30%. And so there's a disparity there. But that disparity comes from barriers to treatment, which include lack of insurance or underinsurance. And when I say underinsurance, I'm talking, I have insurance, but I have a $10,000 deductible. I can't pay out of pocket every week to see a therapist. Or if I have zero deductible, but I've got a $40 copay, that's $160 a month out of my budget going towards mental health. But grocery prices are on the rise. And so people, African-American people tend to not seek treatment because of these barriers. Another barrier to treatment is lack of culturally competent providers or lack of diversity amongst mental health care providers. You know, I did a study, I was doing some research while working on my doctorate, and I saw that in 1985, statistic was that 3 to 5% of all mental health providers were of African-American descent. That hasn't changed in 2024. The statistic remains the same. So there's a lack of culturally competent, a lack of diversity in mental health providers. And then there's the language barrier for Hispanic Americans. People whose first language is not English tend to have issues with providers who don't speak Spanish or who aren't culturally sound. And then the last barrier to treatment is going to be the stigma of mental illness. Which tends to be greater in minority populations, and the distrust in the healthcare system. You know, think Tuskegee experiment. People of color tend to not trust not just the medical treatment facilities, but mental health more specifically, because, you know, they get around in your head and they mess things up. So there's that stigma.
Let me ask this. Should a person seek a counselor or a therapist that looks like them, that will understand what they're going through?
The short answer is if they want to. But the long answer is it's not mandatory. What you should seek in a therapist is someone who can see you. More than you being able to see you in them, they should be able to see you in you. I had someone say to me once, well, you know, I wouldn't trust a substance abuse therapist who didn't have issues with substance abuse. Well, I'm a woman, and the last baby that I delivered was delivered by a man, and I'm sure he had never had a baby. But what I needed was someone who could help me with the problems that I have. So when you're seeking a therapist, seek someone who specializes in what you need treatment for, who has experience in the type of issues that you're having, and someone that when you consult with them, you feel like they see you and they understand where you're coming from. And, you know, don't be afraid if you see a therapist and you think, yeah, that therapist, I'm not really feeling that person. Find another one. You know, if I go to a mechanic and they don't do the job that I want on my car, I don't stop going to mechanics. I find another mechanic. If I go to a nail salon or a hair shop and I don't like the job they did, I don't stop getting my nails and hair done. I find someone who can do the job the way that I need it done. So a therapist is a relationship. And so if you don't like the therapist, break up and find a new one.
So someone should just keep looking for a therapist that fits them and understands them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, mental health is a crucial aspect of overall wellness. And the LGBTQIA plus community has been found to be at a higher risk of experiencing mental health issues than the general population. There are several factors that may contribute to this, including social stigma, discrimination, harassment, and even violence. When it comes to mental health for the LGBTQIA plus community, Are the LGBTQIA plus community members affected any differently in the workplace and day-to-day life?
Yeah, so there's a study that says that 86% of LGBTQ youth reported being harassed or assaulted, bullied in school in 2020. Bullying and assault and being harassed absolutely affects your mental health. And so when I see clients, sometimes they say, these people on my job, they act just like the mean girls in high school or the jocks in high school. Yeah, they do. They graduated from high school and they went to the workforce, and they're the same people with the same behaviors and the same attitudes. And so bullying, harassment, assault absolutely impacts one's mental health. Additionally, only 37% of LGBTQ plus youth identified their home lives as being identity affirming or safe spaces for them. And so once you're an adult, you're still in that same family. And it affects you, the support systems that you have or don't have in your work life, in your home life, in your overall mental health. So statistically speaking, the LGBTQ plus community is twice as likely to experience mental health issues as the heterosexual community, and transgender adults are 4 times as likely as cisgender adults to experience a mental health condition because of all of these factors.
Mm-hmm. We know all of us are at work today. We're on the job right now. Can you suggest ways to manage work-related stress and find time to relax?
Find time. So I hear people say this all the time. I'm going to find time to do that. I have looked in the attic, the basement, the top drawer, the bottom drawer. I've looked under the bed and in the bathroom closet. I even looked in the kitchen pantry. Y'all, I did not find any time anywhere in my house. Mm-hmm. So the actual fact is we all have 24 hours in a day, and we decide how we spend that time. You will never find time. You must make time. When you prioritize your time you prioritize the things that are important to you. You go to work. Most people get there on time. You go to church, you go to family functions, you do all of these things. You have to prioritize self-care.
Right. Now you said most of us get there on time.
I said most of us.
We had to giggle.
And some of us. 2 or 3 of y'all.
And you are absolutely correct. I've learned that you have to put the phone down. You have to step away. Yes. Even at family functions. Just last night, we got into Flint. We went to my sister's home, and I just said, I need 45 minutes just to do the run of the show, put my notes together, and I'll be through. And I did that. So we have to make sure it happens ourselves so we can relax.
When you get a break at work, take a break. Do not sit at your desk with the computer on and the phone ringing. Go someplace away from the workspace and take your break. Eat your lunch. Don't eat lunch at your desk. I highly, highly recommend taking the breaks that they pay you for. Mm-hmm. You decrease your salary when you work through your breaks because they don't pay you for that time.
Right. And that's what my next question to you was just going to be around that, especially for individuals who are passionate about their work. They love what they do. They're always eager to learn and improve. They want to make the most of their skills and talents and achieve successes in careers. They want to stay motivated and overcome challenges and continue to grow professionally. But I think eventually we would reach burnout. Am I correct?
Absolutely. I love what I do. I can talk mental health all day. I can see clients on a daily basis, but I can't do it without rest. I can't do it without self-care. I can't do it without healthy boundaries. And so that's imperative. No matter how much you love your job, your career, how much you want to grow in it, too much of anything is not a good thing. So there has to be healthy boundaries, self-care, time for relaxation. And it's important that you do something else, like have something else to do. If all you have is work, I don't know about anybody else, but I've been laid off from a job that I absolutely love. And so in a layoff, now who am I? So you better be somebody other than who you are at work.
Correct, correct. I'm a living witness. I've been laid off before, and I had to find something to do. And so I'm just ecstatic that I was able to come back to the company and stay as long as I have now. Now, mental health is an important aspect of our overall well-being that we must pay very close attention to. It encompasses our emotional, our physical, psychological, and social well-being, and even how we think and feel as well as behave. Taking care of our mental health involves adopting healthy practices and seeking professional help with when necessary. Now, CWA Human Rights Our Power is a nationwide union radio show. And Cherie, I'm interested in knowing if you provide online consultations, and this would be a great alternative for individuals who are unable to receive in-person consultations due to distance or other factors. So does Work in Progress offer online consultations?
Yes. So Work in Progress is a team of therapists. It's not just me. We have 2 locations and we do offer telehealth sessions. When it comes to out of the state of Alabama, it's on a case-by-case basis because the laws are different in each state. And so if someone were to call us looking for a consultation, we would check the laws in that state and let them know either yes, we can or no, we can't. But we tend to, even if we can't, we find some resources and we say we're not able to provide services for someone in that state. But here are 3 resources that are similar to what you're looking for here.
Mm-hmm. As we come to the close of this interview, and we thank you so much for bringing insight into mental health and giving us the ability to just relax for these last 10, 15 minutes. Thank you so much. Before we go, will you provide the listeners with some detailed information on the various ways they can get in contact with you, such as your phone number, email address, website, social media handles, and any other relevant contact information?
Yes, we can be found on the internet at workinprogressllc.com. We can be called at 205-994-4563. We are on Facebook at Work in Progress Counseling, and we are on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at WIP Counseling. I'm gonna say that again. We're on TikTok at WIP Counseling. Y'all follow me on TikTok. I'm funny. I really am.
That's right. Follow her on Facebook. And I've got to reiterate this because this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we want you to get help if you need help. Her social media page, Facebook, Work in Progress Counseling, Work in Progress Counseling, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok is WIP Counseling. WIP Counseling. That's on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Follow her on TikTok. She has some great videos. And then the website, I got to reiterate this. It's workinprogresscounseling.com. Workinprogresscounseling.com. Cherie, do you have any other closing statements that you would like to make to the listening audience?
Sure thing. Counseling is not for everybody else. Counseling is for you. I've heard all types of people say, "Oh, counseling it's not for Black people. It's not for young people. It's not for old people. It's not for poor people." Counseling is for people who are struggling with their day-to-day lives. And it doesn't have to be a severe mental health disorder. Counseling can help you with setting boundaries with family members and coworkers. Counseling can help you with making a career move and deciding whether you want to go in this path or this path. Counseling can help you learn to practice self-care. Counseling can there's so many things that counseling can help with. If there's any area of your life where you're feeling like I need wise counsel, That's what counseling is for. Sometimes friends and family are too close to help because they're vested in your choices. If I decided I want to move to Alaska, I'm going to close my business and move to Alaska. My family is flipping out because they know that that's a crazy idea and I should not do that. But my therapist is going to say to me, well, let's talk through the pros and cons. And she's going to help me come to a decision. She's not going to tell me what to do, but she's going to help me come to a decision that's going to be best and safest and healthiest for me. So counseling is for you. If you've been thinking about it, this is your sign. Call.
That's right. Thank you so much for sharing with us today and taking time out of your busy morning schedule to be with us. And I hope that you will be able to come and share with us again in the future.
I would love to. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. You are tuned into KYOK 1140 AM, 106.5 FM, Communication Workers of America, CWA Human Rights Our Power. If you cannot stay by that radio, take us with you on kyokradio.org. Timya Wiley is up next with the Union Buster of the Week. Good morning, Timya. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well, and it is time for the Union Buster of the Week segment.
What you got?
I'm going to start off. I'm going to start off by giving just a little bit of history on what a Union Buster is, just for those people who don't know. And I'm going to start off with a quote by Martin J. Leavitt from Confessions of a Union Buster. Union busting is a field populated by bullies and built on deceit. A campaign against the union is an assault on individuals and a war on truth. As such, it is a war without honor. The only way to bust a union is to lie, distort, manipulate, threaten, and always, always relentlessly attack. So this is what unions are up against when it comes to union busters. But before we dig into the vicious and illegal world of union busting tactics, it's essential, and I want everybody to keep in mind, that American workers have the legal right to unionize. The United States enacted the National Labor Relations Act in 1935 to protect the rights of employees. Under such law, employees are guaranteed the right to form unions, engage in collective bargaining, and take collective action. That law also makes union busting illegal. So we have union busters that would go through, they use loopholes to get their job done. And it's a very profitable industry that has been built on silencing workers. They have high-paid consultants and lawyers call it union avoidance. So instead of calling it union busting, they call it union avoidance. But to the rest of the world, we all know what it is. It's good old-fashioned union busting. Union busting is an attempt by management to prevent employees from exercising their legal right to unionize, plain and simple. While union busting is illegal, it is still also very common. A recent report found that employers spend over $300 million a year on union busting efforts. That should tell people something right there. If the company is paying someone not to fight unions, there might be something in there for you. There's got to be something in there for you, because corporations just aren't for the people. So I'm gonna move in and we're gonna focus on some union busting tactics, some of the very common ones. The first one is where the employer will hire a union busting consultant or agency. As I stated earlier, employers spend over $300 million a year making rich lawyers even richer by doing this. Instead of negotiating with employees for higher pay and better wages and better working conditions, union busting employees will hire consultants. They hire these attorneys and spend thousands of dollars per employee in an effort to illegally prevent them from exercising their right to collectively bargain, to unionize, to come to the table and ask for better wages and better, safer working conditions. The second union busting tactic that you'll see a lot is that the employer launches an AstroTurf campaign against the union. And we call it AstroTurf because it sounds exactly like what it is. Like fake grass, it's a phony attempt to mimic a grassroots movement. to stop the union busting tactics. Excuse me, to stop them from unionizing. Employees will recruit a few anti-union employees within the House to do their bidding, and these employees will be lied to and manipulated, and they will parrot the union busting consultants' talking points and distribute anti-union literature throughout their union siblings. They're soon to be union siblings, hopefully. Tactic number 3 is going to be forced meetings. This is about intimidation. It's just pure and simple intimidations. Employees will be forced to have one-on-one meetings with management and even with their union busting consultants. The employer may also hold captive audience meetings where employees are forced to attend meetings before they start their shift. And a lot of plants and work where you see people coming in on shift work, they will have a forced meeting before your shift starts where you have to hear all about why the union is terrible, all the anti-union propaganda. And to give you one more, the employer will start making promises, like almost like an abusive ex. If I'll never do it again, I'll never say ugly things to you again. They get desperate and they start making all kinds of promises that they're going to change and they're going to do better and they're going to pay you more and make the workplace safer, but they don't. The only way to guarantee real change and to hold an employer accountable is through a union. And so today, for our Union Buster of the Week, we want to list Amazon. Amazon is our Union Buster of the Week.
Wait a minute. Is that your bell?
Yes, that's my Union Buster bell. That's it.
Well, that's all right. We're going to get you a real bill for next week. So, and you're absolutely correct, Timia. We have these union busters going around. I don't know if many of our listening audience has heard about this, but even right in the state of Alabama, with Mercedes-Benz trying to organize, or they're in the process of organizing. And as a matter of fact, it comes up May 13th through 17th that they will be having a vote. The governor of Alabama has tried to be a union buster with not wanting the company or the workers to unionize. Not only there, but Volkswagen also has begun to hire individuals, or they did, I should say, because they are organized now. But union busting is something that people ought to be ashamed of. The workers know what to do and what they want. So thank you so much for bringing a light to the Union Buster of the Week. Next up, our resident guest, Sir Reginald Small, is here with us this morning, and he is here to spotlight one of our own. Good morning, Reginald.
Good morning, Errol, and good morning, KYOK radio listeners. I am and I remain Reginald Small, Communication Workers of America, Civil Rights and Equity Chairperson. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is one of my favorite parts of this program, spotlighting the work and dedication of one of our own. Today, we are spotlighting Miss Brittany Kewington of District 6. Brittany was born and raised in Dallas, Texas. She began her union journey as a day one member of the Communication Workers of America Local 6215, while employed as a premise technician for AT&T. Since 2016, Brittany has become a local job steward, District 6 lead for the CWA National Broadband Brigade, and District 6 lead for CWA's Next Generation, empowering young workers under the age of 35. Brittany has expanded her opportunities with targeted works with the Texas Climate Jobs Project and serves on 2 state-led task force groups for the Texas Broadband Development Office and serves as chairwoman of the Black Veterans Caucus of Common Defense. Brittany is a current Ruth Ellinger Fellow. Texas AFL-CIO, a proud member of several constituency groups of the Texas AFL-CIO, and the proudest member of several of the constituency groups, and the proudest mother to a differently abled son named Parker. Good morning, Brittany, and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
Definitely. You are indeed a very busy bee. We've been hearing about so much about broadband. We hear about it in our unions. We've been hearing about broadband in our communities and even broadband in our city halls. And can you tell us a little bit this morning about broadband and where we are today on broadband?
Okay, yes. So broadband is just another way of saying internet. So I just want to clear that up right away. So if you hear broadband, they're literally just talking about internet. But within CWA, the Broadband Brigade was formed in 2021, and we have members in every state in the United States with strong efforts to do two things. One, close the digital divide, meaning everybody should have access to quality internet. And then two, doing that with union jobs. And doing that, we are literally on the front lines of tackling digital redlining and environmental racism. So it's pretty huge. And we've started out really strong and have continued that with that same strength and actually gained some momentum. And like one of the biggest things that we were able to accomplish was getting rolled out a program called the Affordable Connectivity Program. And that was a bill that was created to basically try to make internet more affordable for everyone. It grants vouchers to those who qualify, which is a lot, that dramatically decrease their internet bill. And for some places, it even makes it free. And to date, we have over 23 million households that are signed up for ACP, for the Affordable Connectivity Program. But there's many more that qualify. But despite all of our efforts since 2021, we have reached a point of urgency because ACP is ending. As of yesterday, actually, they cut the benefit in half because they're running out of funding. And that's what happens when bills are created because they're temporary, they're not a permanent thing. So they go away once the money has run out. Thankfully, our CWA president, international president, Claude Clemens, actually posted an op-ed about the effects of ACP ending and the consequences to that and what it would do. He posted it on his Facebook page, and the op-ed was written on, was contributed to inequality.org. So if you want to check that out, you can see what the effects that will leave for over 23 million households that qualify. And we also have a letter writing campaign through CWA that anybody can do. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes to do. And it is at cwa.org/renewACP. And you just write to your representative. We wrote the letter for you. So all you got to do is fill out your personal information. And then you can send that to your representative saying that you want ACP to be extended.
Thank you very much, Brittany, for sharing that insight. And it's easy to remember actually that broadband is just internet. Thank you for giving us those resources on how we can actually help. Brittany, your bio, your resume is so broad, so big, and you have so many interesting things to talk about. But for the sake of time, I want to go into something that is really touches us as union leaders. You are a part of the next gen. I am actually part of what I'm going to call the age of wisdom. I'm over 50, like so many other people in this union leadership. And I want to know, what is it that you can tell me or share with us how we can actually bridge that gap and further this movement as you tell us a little bit about what Next Gen actually is?
Okay, so with CWA, we have Next Gen. Almost every union has their own Next Gen. They might call it something different, but they target the younger age group. And within that, we're able to do what I call like a coalition of unions, and that would be the AFL-CIO. And I refer to them as the Avengers because it's like all the superheroes getting together and like fighting for general worker power. And so within that, so even if you don't have like a Next Gen in your said union, or if you're not even a union member, you can be a part of what's called the Young Active Labor Leaders, which is led by the AFL-CIO. And then our constituency groups also have groups that are targeted towards younger workers. And I'm a part of Under 40 for the Coalition of Black Trade Unions, or CBTU. And basically what we want to do is be the bridge, because we know, like, Andre 3000 has this good saying, like, the South got something to say. Well, the young workers really got something to say. And if that hasn't been evident over the past 2 years, I don't know what else to tell you, because you've been seeing all of these walkouts, all of these strikes. They don't even have a union and they walking out, you know, like, they don't even have that support. So the urgency is there for us to get together, but we have to lean on those who have already walked that walk before. And that's where the next generation comes in. We want to serve as the bridge between, you said seasoned, but I said the more experienced and the less experienced, so that we can get general worker power for everybody. But it's right now being led by the young workers.
Thank you, Brittany, for that. And finally, Brittany, one interesting thing here, you are a premise technician by trade, and that is what we would traditionally know as a male-dominated industry. And I have been in many meetings, I've been at conferences, and you are holding your own on the stage with executives, but most of them, because of the broadband technology and all that, most of them are men. What is it really like being a next-gen person and a woman in this movement in a male-dominated industry?
We don't have enough time to talk about what it's really like, but one thing I do have the advantage of is leaning on my experience that I gained in the military, because I was in the military prior to working for as a premise technician for a cable company. I've already been in a male dominated environment before, so it was kind of more of the same. But being younger, I have a lot of energy to bounce back from the shots that they take, because it's shots on the daily. Like, that's just like, just being a female and being a female of color is going to happen. But I do have a lot of support from the union, like the backing. I never feel alone, even if I am the only one in the room that fits that demographic.
Great, Brittany. Thank you. And I just love your energy and your positive spirit. It's just very refreshing. And one more thing I want to kind of touch on. I'm the Black Caucus of Common Defense. Please, for our radio listeners and for me, could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I would love to. Common Defense is the largest grassroots veterans organization that is progressive in this United States. We have over 200,000 members, and thanks to the help of Human Rights and the CRE Committee of CWA, I was introduced to them in July of 2022. And since then, I've stuck with them ever since. And what we do is we educate and train veterans to use their power and their voice and the expertise that they gain in the military to organize as a civilian, because we know that we all have that leader quality in us because it was ingrained in us. So we just, what they do is aim to train veterans on how to use that on the civilian side, because that transition is not easy. And within Common Defense, we have subgroups under the Racial Justice Committee. We formed the Black Veterans Caucus in June of last year, and I was elected the chair. I guess as soon as you start talking, they just keep throwing you in things, and I'm very, very honored. But I just wasn't expecting to be the one to lead. But it's been a great experience. We had we went to the March on Washington, the 60th anniversary, and we were able to attend that as the caucus. And we've just been going steady since then. And we're just doing a whole lot of get out the vote efforts for this election season.
Again, Brittany Quinton of CWA 6215, District 6. It has been an honor to recognize you this morning for your continued work in this movement. And thank you for being on the show and for all that you do. Keep up the good work. And I look forward to seeing you at the next activism event. Back to you, Errol Minor.
Thank you so much, Reginald. Thank you, Brittany, for coming into the studio this morning. You are tuned into CWA Human Rights Hour Power. It's that time again now, Our Power Trivia with Micaiah Jones.
Good morning. Good morning. So today we're going to switch it up a little bit and give Reggie a break because he's been on a a consistent run of not winning. So we're going to give him a little timeout today and have Timia and Brittany for our power trivia. And hopefully Timia is better than that little bell she was ringing that we did not hear today. All right, guys. So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to ask you a trivia question. It's going to be one of the questions about something that we've discussed on the show previously. So if you've been listening, you will know. Your name is your buzzer. So once I hear your name, I'll call on you. So whoever says your name first gets the chance to answer first. If you answer incorrectly, the opponent does have a chance to answer it. And if they get it right, they get the point. If not, I guess we're all losers. All right, you guys ready?
Ready.
So,
all right, first question. When did the Atlanta washerwomen strike begin?
Timia.
Okay, Timia.
In July of 1881.
All right, that's one for Timia. Second question. How many people died in 2022 from hazardous working conditions?
Brittany.
All right, Brittany.
344.
Oh, 344.
Oh, ooh.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right, Timmy, you got a chance to steal.
344 workers died each day.
Each day. All right, there we go. All right, that's two for Timmy. Brittany, you almost had that one. All right, next question. How long have we acknowledged Sexual Assault Awareness Month?
Brittany.
Timia.
Oh, I heard Brittany first that time.
Try to redeem myself. 23 years.
All right, that's one for Brittany. Okay, next question. How many workers have been killed on the job in the U.S. in 2022?
Timia.
All right, Timia.
5,486 to be exact. Workers were killed on the job.
All
In
right,
2022.
ding, ding, ding. Timia, ring that silent bell, girl. You won today. Thank you so much for playing, Brittany, and thank you guys for tuning in to our Power Trivia.
You know, that bell must be a plastic wine glass or something because it is not working at all.
You said my bell not belling.
It's not belling this morning. It's not belling. You're tuned into KYOK 1140 AM and the all-new 106.5 FM Communication Workers of America Human Rights Our Power. As always, remember, if you cannot stay by the radio, take us with you on kyokradio.org. As we come down to the final minutes of the show, I must remind you that our union brothers and sisters and siblings at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette have been outside for 574 days striking, 18 months on the picket line. And yet while they are striking, they are still churning out the news with facts for you and me. Let's show our support to them by making sure we subscribe to unionprogress.com. Once you subscribe to this free publication, how about going over and donating to their strike fund? CWA.org/PPG-donate. And I just heard someone shout, when we fight, we win. Our brothers, sisters, and siblings at Maximus are still fighting for a contract. We ask that you continue to support the workers of Maximus and their families by going over to CWA.org/CCW Solidarity Fund and help the workers and their families. We're vastly approaching the CWA National Human Rights Conference, August 11th through 14th in beautiful Houston, Texas. And we hope that you've already made your plans to attend. But if not, there is still time. Make your reservations today. An hour is not long enough to be with you, and a week is too long to be away from you. You've been tuned into the CWA Human Rights Justice Our Power broadcast. I hope something you heard today has inspired you to take action toward creating positive change in the world. Every person has the power to make a difference, no matter how small, and by working together, we can create a world where human rights are respected and valued. So I encourage each of you in the listening audience to reflect on your role in promoting human rights to effect change in your communities and beyond. Know that you are not alone in your quest for a more just and equitable world. When faced with injustice, It can be easy to lose hope and give up. But remember, justice may be slow, like the truth, but when it finally comes, it will stand. Until next Thursday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on KYOK 1140 a.m. and the all-new 106.5 FM, KYOKradio.org. See you next week.